We're going to talk a little bit now about the path of the hand through the zone. And in our drills tape, we gave, I think, 8 or 10 separate drills that help teach the path through the zone. But we're going to discuss just basically what path the bat does take through the zone. Maul, why don't you get up here like you're hitting? And you'll notice one of the things that we see a lot of kids, now Molly does it correctly here, but we have a lot of kids who wrap the bat back here as they go to swing. When they take their hands back, the bat wraps back around the head here, and you'll notice that when it wraps around the head here, that she's just gone from here. She's added 2 feet to her swing here. Now she has to get rid of that 2 feet, but you'll notice the momentum of the bat. From this position, it's got to go energy-wise in this direction here. So she's added 4 feet to her swing, which causes her front arm to bar out and make it long and through the zone. The path of the bottom hand should be pound nails backwards with this knob, okay, or with the bottom hand, pound nails backwards or throw the knob through the zone, so that from here, as she takes a slow motion swing, I'll take a slow motion swing. 1, 2, 3, and through the zone. You'll see how much shorter this is in slow motion going here, 2, 3 through the zone, than from way back around here with the energy heading off in this direction. And as I said, we made a lot of drills for coaches in the other video that will help correct this. Just as an example, one right away, and don't be hitting me, lady, okay, is for me to stand right here. Now in order, this is gambling right here. In order for her not to hit me in the face, she has to take that hand in that direction to the zone. Now we'll use a fence here, stand kids up against a fence, against a wall, to do all kinds of different drills to help teach this bottom hand path through the zone, which she's going to take here. Slow motion, Maul. Okay. Now, let me set a ball up here just to show you on contact. It's really important that when you make contact, take a normal swing in slow motion, Maul, and freeze as you get to the ball. Don't knock it off. As she comes through to hit, you'll notice she has palm up, open your hand, palm down. Okay, palm up, palm down on contact as she hits the ball. We are not in this position and rolled here. And one example, if you want to use to convince the kids that it's palm up, palm down, let go of the bat, hon, for a second. Stay right there, okay? Put your hand in a fist, palm up. Now, feel the strength. Push against my hand in this direction. Go ahead and push. See? She's throwing a punch there, all right? If the hand is rolled in this direction, she's already rolled it over. Now push with this. Nothing there. She has no strength in that position. Okay, now from this position, grab your bat. And let's put the tee out front a little bit here. Let's take a slow motion swing. Okay, slow motion swing with the path of the bottom hand down through the zone and freeze on the ball. Now you'll notice as we hit here again, the palm is up. Bottom hand palm is facing down. That is the power position to make contact to start to drive through the ball. The interesting thing here about all of this is you'll notice where Molly's head is. It has gone from shoulder to shoulder. But think about the terminology that we use when we're teaching kids like this. What does shoulder to shoulder mean? All right, let's just take the bat for a minute out of her hand. And let's just say that as you get into your stance, Maul, okay, let's just say that conceivably, hold your hands up like you were swinging, conceivably she could move her head backwards in the swing back here to the back shoulder as she's swinging. So you notice what just happened to the eyes? The eyes went from this position as the ball's coming in and moving towards her. Her eyes are also moving away from the ball to go back to the back shoulder. So be very careful in the terminology of shoulder to shoulder. It may be interpreted by kids differently. The biggest mistake we see is what we call the Velcro chin. This chin hooks on this shoulder, and as they swing, it pulls right out of there, and with it, it takes a swing right across this path of the plate and right off to the foul territory. What we want to see kids do is, in terminology, is let the shoulders rotate around the chin. So as her head stays here, her head will never move as she takes a slow motion swing. And now she's going from front shoulder to back shoulder, and the head has never moved. So now the eyes remain stationary or still through the swing. Her eyes are set here as she watches the ball come in, and actually she rotates back. Leave your head there. It's really starting on the front shoulder and ending on the back shoulder but the shoulders are actually rotating under her chin. She's not taking her chin from the front to the back shoulder. The shoulders actually rotate under the chin. This right here and this right here are the two biggest flaws in 95% of the children who come to our school. I don't care if they're 5 years old, 15 years old, college players. If you can correct the head staying level and never moving, and spinning on the ball of the back foot so that the back side gets to transfer the weight from the hips and hands into the ball, you'll have a chance to create balance and consistency in the contact area for hitting. Now let's put all this together just for a second. Maul, go ahead and take your bat here. This is one sequence that we use with most young hitters just to get them to internalize. And what we have done is we've tried to take the swing or the pitching motion, or the hitting motion, whatever happens to be your fielding motion, and we break it down into the teachable parts. To explain that concept just very quickly, if I was going to teach, let's say the throwing motion, which is one of the most glaring aspects of area concern for kids, and let's just take the throwing motion for instance. So many of the girls, even after they have the correct grip on the ball, stiff wrist the ball when they throw. Or the one thing I hate people to say is, she throws like a girl. Well, then I say, well, I got 47 boys in my school that throw like a girl, if that's a terminology you want to do. But I don't use that terminology. I say you throw incorrectly. If you're a girl, if you're a boy throwing that way, you throw incorrectly. So what we try to do, and we're going to demonstrate with the hitting motion, as we would with the throwing motion, is we use a problem-solving technique where you have the end result and you work backwards in the teachable parts back to the beginning. If it were a throwing motion, we would isolate the wrist, as you've seen on some of our other tapes. You isolate the last action of a throwing motion, which is a wrist snap, or if we're working with the pitchers, the wrist snap. And let them stand there and flip the ball back and forth to each other to get that last ending feeling before you let go of the ball. Then the next segment would be from here, is the bend all the way back, and then add the wrist snap. If you take that same process from hitting, you can work from the front to the back or the back to the front. This is the drill that we will use to teach all the teachable parts so they can internalize and conceptualize this process. Okay, Maul, go ahead and get in. She's going to establish her stance. Then you'll see her bounce a little bit to make sure she's got the weight on the balls of her feet, knees are bent. Now stay at the 50-50 position, Maul. This is the beginning. How long do we stay here? Long enough to relax. Long enough to relax. Once you've got that relaxed mode and the pitcher's getting her sign, once she gets her sign and starts into her motion or her windup, then we float back to a balanced center of gravity position, which is 60-40. You'll notice something really interesting here. We're putting all these parts together, 50-50. Now we're at 60-40. The next part is the stride to the inside ball of the front foot, and at the same time the hands load up to the trigger position to hit. So it's 50-50, 60-40, swing, spin, leave the head in. Do it in slow motion. Swing, spin, leave the head in. Those are all the teachable parts of the swing. Now checkpoints for coaches. She looks straight up and down in the middle. If she were forward, it gives you a chance to see a straight back leg so you know the weight's transferring on the stride. If she's leaning back, she's falling away from her punch. So if I have a group of kids that are learning to internalize all these teaching concepts, I would have 25 or 30 kids out and I'd say, all right, everybody, 50-50 position, bounce with the knees, weight on the balls of the feet, nice and relaxed, hands are loose, fingers are loose on the bat, okay? She's starting her wind up, 60, 40, take your step, squash the bug, leave the head in.